Hi, I'm Jim Christmann. Welcome to Shana Rae. I've been running this boat for almost 30 years, so I guess that makes me just about the captain. The boat has a colorful history and a lot of good stories to tell, but she's a little shy about telling them, so I'm going to do my best to try and do that for her today. Most people would have no reason to know any of this because what you're about to see all happened offshore and out of sight from land. But there's been a boat working here quietly in Central California waters in a funny little niche somewhere between the commercial fishing industry and the marine research community since way back in 1986. She's known as Shana Rae, a heavily built 50-foot fiberglass seiner built in Seattle in 1980 for the Alaskan salmon fishery. Shana Rae worked for 6 seasons during the early 1980s in Prince William Sound, Alaska, and here's one of her sister ships, the Miss Roxanne, still at work there just last summer. Shana Rae did some seining for herring up there, as these boats are doing for salmon, with pretty much the same gear you see here. But Shana Rae worked mostly as what they call a tender, coming alongside loaded fishing vessels, as you see the Bering Star doing here, to take the fish into their own refrigerated holds and get them quickly back to town, leaving the fishermen and women to get right back to work fishing. The boat's first owner, the cagey old fisherman I mentioned, oops, this is an even cagier old fisherman, his name I never actually got. Anyway, Ray named the boat for his daughter Shana, and the feminized version of his own name because fish boats are often named for ladies in Alaska. Shana Rae left that world behind in 1986 and has worked on West Coast waters ever since, mostly within Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. While only a small part of the boat's work since then actually puts fish on the deck anymore, almost everything it has done since '86 has had something to do with either resource management or environmental quality. So even though the boat is no longer fishing, it's been playing a very small role in helping scientists to better understand the ocean, which we hope will allow fisheries to be managed more sustainably. So in turn, we can all look forward to more of some of the healthiest protein our planet offers us from the fisheries of the future. Shana Rae has some grand memories of those great years in Alaska, but has whispered to me at night sometimes, usually in a quiet anchorage somewhere, that she's pretty happy to be down here in easier California weather and all this warm sunshine. And after my own nasty season of king crabbing in Alaska, I could not agree more. The work that this boat has been asked to support down here in California covers an amazing range of subjects, literally from way beneath the ocean's muddy bottom, up through the entire water column to the surface itself, and all the way up into the upper atmosphere, where high-altitude spy planes once tracked instrumented weather balloons launched far out at sea from Shana Rae's deck. This fine boat has worked closely with the full range of critters of every conceivable size, from single-celled toxic algae all the way up to the granddaddy of them all, the giant blue whales. Taking a closer look from the bottom up, Shana Rae's been involved in benthic or bottom studies of all kinds, with grab samplers and coring systems that allow toxins to be analyzed and invertebrate populations monitored for a variety of long-term reasons. Real sorry we can't offer you a little bit of a reality sniff of the mud here. Take my word for it, it's even stinkier than it looks. Here are some City of San Francisco scientists working with sediments off the Golden Gate, and a U.S. Geological Survey crew preparing a close-up camera for sand grain-sized studies there as well. Their efforts paid off with images of some of the largest sand waves anywhere in the world, just outside our own Golden Gate. National Geographic has used Shana Rae several times, mostly for deep camera work near the bottom, like these shots of feeding grenadiers and seven-gill sharks from deep in Monterey and Carmel canyons. Neurophysiologists at several universities have asked the boat to collect sea slugs over the years for their research into nerve processes. So moving quickly on up through the water column as well as the food web to white shark studies at the Farallon Islands, we've now seen Shana Rae at work supporting field work at every level. Maybe the most satisfying project anyone has ever asked Shana Rae to support was a complicated one that came from one of the most respected oceanographers in the field, Dr. Van Holliday. The work was funded by the Navy, probably to help them figure out where submarines might be hiding, though they never tell the boat driver stuff like that. But in the process, it drew together a large team of very smart people, systems, and ships, in hopes of gathering many smaller puzzle pieces into a larger understanding of the ocean's many mysteries. My favorite of these was one night when the instruments produced footage of swarms of amphipods, they look like pill bugs or something, swimming up out of the mud and munching down a layer of copepods, think mosquitoes, in the moonlight just below the surface, and then returning to the muddy bottom and back to bed. Science is often an agonizingly slow process of putting lots of tiny pieces together into bigger pictures that can still be hard for us to see. But this project allowed me to watch a few frames of only one little weave in the web of life that makes this whole planet go, right there under the boat that night. That's what makes this work so much fun for me. It struck me that these scientists, hunching over their instruments through the night, had more in common with fishermen who spend long nights the same way than either group might think. One big reason I stay with this work is the hope of seeing both the skill sets and goals of scientists and fishermen eventually come schooling together into well-managed fisheries. With good science showing the way to sustainable fishing methods, maybe we'll reach a point where our fisheries can allow us to enjoy healthy fish protein far into the future, without accidentally tearing big holes in the lovely tapestry of the ocean's life as we go. I hope that Shana Rae gets to see something like this happen after beginning her career fishing in Alaska, then coming down here mainly to support ocean science in California. And I'm pretty sure she'd like to see that too.